Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we're going to talk about the return of Kill Team and the Van Saar for Necromunda. The Van Saar have got me excited, and I would explain why they've got me excited, and actually it's got nothing to do with Necromunda, although that is what they are for. Start with Kill Team though, because Kill Team I'm properly hyped up for this, for a couple of reasons. So, this is from the Warhammer community site. I need to get better at pronouncing that slowly because I always trip over it, which of course I will link in the description. And the little blurb that they have for it, the trailer will be on the screen somewhere, is that this new edition gives you everything you love about Warhammer 40,000 in less time and in less space. Using deep rules for squad customization and specialists, you'll be able to assemble an elite team from any faction you choose and pit them against your foes in fast-paced tactical combat. From one-off match play battles to in-depth narrative campaigns where your fighters grow and evolve, this edition of Kill Team is a fully fledged game in its own right. It doesn't use the existing Warhammer 40,000 rules set, but it is just as thrilling, apparently. Whether you're looking to try out a new faction or explore new tactical challenges with your existing Warhammer 40,000 collection, there will be loads of great gaming opportunities for you. What's more, Kill Team will be released along a new Warzone's worth of modular battlefield terrain, designed by the same team who brought you the Sector Mechanics kits, and as you can see from the trailer, which is playing somewhere on the screen, it looks pretty damn good, the new terrain, I have to admit. Hopefully they won't be replacing the Sector Mechanicus kits, because I do like those ones, but yeah, they look decent. So this has got me excited because it's once again a good example of Games Workshop doing something properly right, by the look of it, at the very least. Shadow War Armageddon came out, and whilst it did okay, it was also relatively light, and it would appear that what they were doing was basically testing the waters for a proper sort of skirmish game based around the 40k range. And although we do have Necromunda, I've seen quite a few people kind of going, well, we've already got Necromunda, I don't understand it. Necromunda isn't the same as 40k. It's set in 40k, but it's a very specific, very focused kind of narrative thing. You're not using things like groups of orcs, you're not using a bunch of Tau or Death Guard or Space Marines or anything like that. It's the story of one specific place and the gangs that live in that place. So it doesn't really have the same focus as 40k as a whole. It's a lot more, well, it's a lot more focused, but in a different way. Kill Team is, by the look of it, a proper kind of response to how much people liked Shadow War Armageddon, but it's actually taking it further. Shadow War Armageddon, there's a comment on Facebook that I'll try and dig out and link that was on the official Warhammer 40,000 page that basically ran along the lines of, we saw that you liked this, it was sort of, we were dipping a toe into doing a 40k skirmish game again, and you liked it enough that we wanted to fully commit to it, which is what this edition of Kill Team is. I'm genuinely excited about this because it just seems to tick all of the boxes straight off. If it is faster, if it takes less time, if it takes less space, that's all excellent because it's a really good way to get people into 40k as a whole. Making it so that you can use any faction, again, is a great way to introduce it, and in fairness, for people who don't have the time to just sit there and do massive 2,000, 3,000 point battles, which I am due to become one of very shortly, it's a perfect way to just still get that fix without necessarily having to have a full game of 40k. Introducing in-depth narrative campaigns as well. When you have something like a smaller skirmish game, I think it's kind of easy to make it feel like not an epic experience, not a big experience. Giving it a narrative element and introducing a more RPG side of things to that is a really good way to flesh it out without necessarily making it bigger or more clunky or introducing more numbers, basically. You know, you can still have a very close and very kind of significant fight with 2 squads of 10. You can still achieve that, and if you're able to progress your units, if you're able to, you know, build stuff the way you want to build it and actually have that narrative element, It's just going to make it more interesting all round. Now, not too long from now, probably in a couple of days, my second daughter will be arriving, and so the prospect of having loads of high point matches for 40k, for a while at least, it's just not going to happen. Something like this, something like Kill Team, where I can, if I want to, just have a really quick game against someone, and then that's it. Or alternatively, have a mini campaign, picking it up here and there, or even just blasting through one on what could be a rare day where I actually get some time to myself. That really, really speaks to me. That really appeals to me. And something that's kind of interesting about all of this is they, as they say, it's not going to be sharing the same rule set as 40k. It has its own thing. It has its own set of rules. Part of that, you can kind of see in the video very briefly that there's a D10 lying about. That's especially interesting to me because that feels like a bit of a departure, and it kind of has a bit of potential, I think, for maybe expanding the complexity, or at least making things like skirmish games and box games and stuff like that just a little bit more interesting, and making them stand out a little further from the main game of Warhammer 40k. By the look of it, it will be any faction, as they say, so you can just take your pick. I can't see anything in this that I don't like the look of. You know, being able to build and grow your squad members, being able to construct them the way you want. I mean, we've seen different combinations of units in the video. There's Space Wolves on Thunderbolt. I hate the Space Wolves naming conventions, I really do. Space Wolves on Wolves, and there's also, you know, Death Guard with some Poxwalkers. That shows that there's, you know, there is scope to make this what you want it to be, which again is absolutely nothing to complain about ever. Also, surely you can throw some Custodies in there. Hopefully, maybe. Although it depends, because I believe the last edition of Kill Team, if it was above 2 wounds you couldn't have, or was it a 2+ save and 3 wounds that you couldn't have? I can't remember, but it's something like that. There was a limitation. I'm pretty sure you couldn't have 2+ saves, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't have 3 wounds. It had to be 2 wounds or lower. But it'll be interesting to see if those hold, or whether those are adapted with a actual brand new rule set that they've built from the ground up, instead of just porting over elements of 40k. It just looks interesting. It looks interesting, it looks fun, it looks quick, and as they say right at the end of the video, a fully supported range and organised play. There's nothing to complain about there. I think they hopefully will have made something really worth getting into with this. Now, the Van Saar stuff. So again, nice little video playing somewhere on the screen. I asked a while ago about potential ideas for Imperial Guard, and I put forward my kind of different options that I was thinking about for what to do with an Imperial Guard army, because I couldn't make my mind up, and I wanted your advice. And I got some really good feedback from that, and I got some really good ideas. I've kind of been in a bit of a limbo since then, because what I wanted to do and what I could feasibly achieve without it being horrendously expensive was have a more, I guess, a more kind of tech focused thing. Have something that was maybe a bit more kind of outlandish for Imperial Guard, but was nevertheless kind of recognisably Imperial Guard based. I couldn't really find a way to do it, and I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do with it, or how I wanted to do it. There was a lot of looking at different parts, and I even bought a few things here and there, but ended up selling them on because I just didn't use them, because they just didn't fit the bill. More expensive though it might be, Games Workshop have accidentally created the thing that I would like to do. I really liked the idea of having a more kind of, almost like slightly more ornate, slightly more technological Imperial Guard army, one that looked like it had the support of a, like, either a major or minor forge world, perhaps a tech priest or a magos that was a little bit off to the side, a little bit heretical, a bit too willing to try and improve what he saw around him, or she saw around her, or whatever. These Van Saar models just fit the bill for what I want for my Imperial Guard somehow. They have actually managed to create a range whereby I looked at it and went, oh, that's pretty much what I was thinking of, but I didn't realise that that's what I was thinking of. That's the look I was kind of after, without really knowing that that was it. You know, I was kind of thinking I wanted more actiony poses, and I wanted, you know, a bit more flair, a bit more kind of tech feel to it, but I just didn't know how to achieve that, and I couldn't find pieces that really suited. And then the Van Saar trailer appeared, and it's just, that's it. That is quite literally what I want my Imperial Guard to look like. Not only that, but it fixes the issue that I was having of trying to look for different parts for different manufacturers, trying to find, you know, female parts and male parts that look the same, that or at least look similar. There's mixed gender stuff in there. There's both. So that side of things, again, has gone completely. There are third-party parts that I've already found that would be great for replacing the bare heads on these things, while still kind of fitting in with the crazy face masks and the, like, tech dread things coming out the back of them. Somehow Games Workshop has fixed my I don't know what to do for my Imperial Guard problem by releasing miniatures for a different game. They have released a Necromunda gang that fits what I was after almost perfectly. So, much though I should get around to playing Necromunda, because I still haven't, much though it looks like they're a cool gang for Necromunda, and I really like the styling and the kind of the general feel of them, I'm not going to be using them for Necromunda, but they are going to be forming the basis of my Imperial Guard army. So, are they going to be good in that particular game? I don't know. Will they look great, backed up by 3 Baneblade variants and a super heavy detachment? Absolutely, they will, and that's the important bit to me. So maybe a little bit, whoa, I'm being blinded. The Emperor approves. I just got annihilated by his light, as you can see. Whilst that might be a bit of a left field reason to be excited by Van Saar, I am, and clearly, the saviour of mankind agrees. Thank you very much for watching. What do you reckon of all of this stuff? Do you think Kill Team looks good? I think it looks good. Do you think Van Saar looks good? You just heard that I think it looks good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. There's your usual array of things to click. There's a couple of videos, there's Patreon, subscribe, and I'm going to leave now before I get incinerated into a, like, cloud of ash by the sun, which is apparently trying to destroy me through my window. See you for the next one. Toodaloo.